Oh God, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the recent allegations against Diddy. Well, hold on to your wigs because things are about to get even crazier. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Is Beyonce somehow involved in this Diddy drama? Now I know what you're thinking. Not Queen Bey, but here's the tea, bestie. Ever since the Diddy scandal broke, Beyonce's name has been getting dragged through the mud. Now let me be clear, there's absolutely no concrete evidence against Beyonce. But you know how the internet is, right? Just because her husband, Jay-Z, has been friends with Diddy for years, people are out here speculating that Beyonce must know something. But wait, it gets worse. There are rumors flying around that there's a tape of Beyonce and Diddy that's being auctioned off in the industry. Apparently, a bunch of media outlets are offering millions to get their hands on it, with TMZ supposedly being the highest bidder. Can you imagine? Now, this alleged tape is said to be part of a larger collection of videos from Diddy's infamous parties. And let me tell you, if even half of what people are saying is true, it's gonna be a WAP situation for a lot of celebs when this drops. In fact, some photos from one of these freak-offs have already leaked, and they're pretty wild. We're talking pictures of Diddy pouring champagne on people, celebs getting touchy-feely in pools. It's like a Hollywood version of Girls Gone Wild. But here's where it gets really juicy. An attorney named Ariel Mitchell-Kidd recently did an interview where she spilled some major tea about a new client she's representing. This client is suing Diddy for assault, and the details are seriously disturbing.
Called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the assault. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Coram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs sexualized her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself.
Apparently, this client met Diddy back in 2018 at a friend's house. After drinking some spiked drinks, she fell unconscious. When she woke up, she realized she had been assaulted by Diddy and another man. The worst part? Diddy's assistant, Christina Coram, was allegedly in the room during all of this.
So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming, and a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you will.
So there's a witness?
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report. As she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time. They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and they'd only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
The client managed to escape and even filed a police report, but nothing came of it. Why? Because according to the attorney, Diddy had paid off the police. This apparently wasn't a one-time thing either. It's how he's been keeping things quiet for years.
To the high-profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying.
In the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room, is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, And women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Now, here's where things get really messy. In the same interview, Ariel dropped a bombshell. She said someone reached out to her about selling a tape of Diddy with another high-profile celebrity. And get this, she said this celeb is even more famous than Diddy.
Also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
Explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, Diddy. And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded it.
Of course, as soon as people heard this, they started speculating that the other person in the tape might be Beyonce. I mean, who else is more high profile than Diddy, right? These rumors got even crazier when an old video of rapper DaBaby resurfaced. In it, he talks about being invited to a secret meeting at Diddy's house with Beyonce and Jay-Z. According to DaBaby, Beyonce was acting all flirty, and then Diddy kicked everyone else out of the room except for him, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Things apparently got a little touchy after that.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. This Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was super dope.
But wait, there's more. Remember that time on Making the Band when Diddy made the group members walk for hours to get him a cheesecake? Well, one of the band members, Freddie P., recently spilled some tea about that incident. Apparently, that cheesecake wasn't even for Diddy. It was for Beyonce.
A lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyonce. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked and got a cheesecake. It was for Beyonce. I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store, or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake, but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He didn't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know the first thing that said out of his mouth? He said, we got the cheesecake. He was like, I want that shit. Take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we wanted to tell you, Fred and Darlon, they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He was like, I ain't tell you niggas to walk back.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if it's not Beyonce in that alleged tape? What if it's Jay-Z? Well, bestie, you're not alone in that thought. Some people are speculating that maybe it's Jay-Z in the tape, given how close he and Diddy used to be. There have even been rumors about Diddy and Jay-Z having a more intimate relationship, if you know what I mean. These rumors got even louder when an old video resurfaced of Diddy slapping Jay-Z's behind multiple times on stage. Some people are saying it was like he was sending a signal about what was going to go down after the show. I mean, can you even imagine? Now, it's super important to remember that all of this is just speculation at this point. We don't know for sure if it's Beyonce or Jay-Z or anyone else in that alleged tape. We'll just have to wait and see if TMZ or another outlet ends up buying and releasing it. But you know how the internet is. People are already forming their own opinions. Some folks are saying Beyoncé isn't as innocent as she seems, while others are just shocked that her name is even being mentioned in all this drama. One person on social media said, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and P. Diddy are one and the same. She's dirty and believes she's not a victim. She loves these parties. I never cared for Beyoncé. She's one of them girls that tries to come on all sweet and innocent when you know what the real truth is. They don't call her Queen Bee for nothing. Another person commented, the floodgates have opened and Diddy will be completely drained when it's over. He should have just married his kid's mother and lived a life of peace and tranquility. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. This whole situation is a mess, and it's bringing up a lot of questions about power, fame, and what really goes on behind closed doors in Hollywood. If these allegations against Diddy are true, it's absolutely horrifying. The idea that someone could use their power and influence to hurt people and then cover it up is sickening, and the fact that it might have been going on for years, that's even worse. But we also need to be careful about jumping to conclusions, especially when it comes to people like Beyoncé who haven't been directly accused of anything. It's easy to get caught up in the gossip and speculation, but we have to remember that these are real people's lives we're talking about. At the same time, if there is any truth to these rumors, it's important that it comes to light. For too long, powerful people in the entertainment industry have been able to get away with bad behavior because everyone was too afraid to speak up. Maybe this is finally the moment when all of that changes. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. As more details come out and more people start speaking up, we're likely to hear even more shocking revelations. Who knows what other secrets might come to light? So, what do you think, besties? Do you believe there's any truth to these rumors about Beyoncé and Diddy? Or do you think it's all just gossip and speculation? And what about Jay-Z? Do you think he might be involved in some way? Whatever happens, you know we will be here to spill all the tea as soon as it comes out. So make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on, because you do not want to miss what happens next in this crazy story. Until next time, keep it real, keep it messy, and keep sipping that tea. This is Hot Gossip signing off. Bye!